We have just completed a very exciting symposium on global well-being. And this keynote almost like an extension or follow-up of the conversation we just had. Now, everybody wants to be happy and successful, but most people are miserable. Why? And earlier, Cashman has mentioned about hedonic adaptation. That means it doesn't matter what you want to make you happy, whether it's money or love, whatever. If you make that your ultimate goal, you'll be disappointed because of hedonic adaptation. All the while, whatever you look chasing after, we always habituate, will become less exciting. Another reason why is that the road to success is littered with victims of failure. For the Olympic Games, for every winner, there are hundreds of losers. And the sad part is that even for the winner, after the game, many Olympic champions experience an emotional crash and they don't know what to do with themselves. And here is part of Gallup research showing that no matter what you pursue, every day we experience negative emotions. Actually stopped at 2018, actually continued to increase. You see, here's another thing about stress research. Okay. Now, personally, I feel that in order to better understanding well-being and flourishing, we need to have a good measure, a valid and reliable measure of suffering. More importantly, we need to conceptualize suffering not as the opposite pole of flourishing on the same dimension, but as an independent dimension coexists with dimension of flourishing. Let me give you an example about Paul Caston research. You know why curiosity is one of the most important sources of sustainable happiness? You know why? He'll tell you that it's because in order to enjoy the benefit of curiosity, the person or the animal had to navigate between the excitement of learning new things, the excitement of exploring new territory, and the fear of danger, of harming themselves, of harming other people. So so happiness and flourishing is always depend on navigating between what exciting, what positive, what good, and the danger of crossing a boundary of hurting themselves. So in a way, the secret of success and happiness is not to directly pursuing them, but actually it's a way of life. Now here can learn something from ancient wisdom. Here is Zhuangzi from Taoism. Happiness is the absence of the striving for happiness. Happiness is the way, he says. It's a way of nature. it is a way of, living in harmony with ecology and nature. But that's Lao Tzu, that's Taoism. Also, Buddhism also will say there's no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. So both of these ancient sages say that happiness is not a goal, but a way of life. It's a quality. Taoism emphasize, both of them emphasize that happiness is the quality of the way of life. It's the quality of your mind. Is your mind disciplined? Or your mind full of junk? Franco, also a smart guy, he said happiness is a spiritual way. It's a spiritual way of pursuing meaning. Most people operation at the horizontal level, success or failure, happiness, sadness, they're operating as a two-dimensional person. Franco said that you can never get happiness or success by only pursuing at the horizontal level. That need a reorientation, a mega shift from horizontal to vertical. So I always tell my client, okay, you need to do this from here to this. You are here, you forever get stuck. Either it's hedonic treadmill or success track, you always get stuck there. You have to change your mindset from here to here. From pursuing happiness and success to pursuing meaning, because that is a better way to get success and happiness. Not by directly pursuing them, but by pursuing a more meaningful way of living. Okay? Importantly, Franco defined meaning as self-transcendence. So, why we need meaning? Because humanity is facing many existential threats: pandemic, climate change, and the economical recession, the robot revolution, and there's a lot of uncertainty facing us. So how do we prepare our children for an uncertain future? How do we help our clients full of anxiety and depression? We need to learn how to face our dark side of life and how to face our inherent vulnerability. We also accept that much of the human suffering is existential suffering. And the last point is that life is paradox. I think that Martin Luther King Jr. says that only in the darkness can you see the star. And many people say the same thing. Here is more detailed explanation. That means for well-being researcher, we do understand the many truths about well-being is paradoxical. For example, we need to transcend our brokenness or suffering in order to find wholeness, as Matthew Lee just told us in the symposium. And that thing is that we will lose ourselves in order to find our true self. But that's the research, many people discover that, when the psychology is full of self-efficacy, self-esteem, self-this, self-that, the best we can have is the emotional roller coaster. It's a fluctuation, up and down. But in order to find our true self, to find true happiness, we'll lose ourselves in something bigger. The other point is that many people talk about meaning. I mean, how to live a meaningful life. I believe that, oh, you just produce something bigger than yourself. No, it's more than that. We need to be willing to find something that worth dying for, worth suffering for. We need to make the necessary sacrifice in order to pursue something greater than we are. So the best happiness, the best well-being, the best possible life is to balance between our dark side or bright side. They are both struggle. All the struggle will make us stronger and better. That's how we learn how to live in harmony with ourselves, with nature, and with the world. So here are the three most powerful ideas, and nobody pay attention to, except some of my friends, like Tim Lamont and Paul Cashman and Matthew Lee. These are three basic tenets: polarity, transcendent polarity, and balance. Here you can see the difference between the old parapsychology and the new parapsychology. So I'm not wasting time. You can take a look yourself. Part three, okay, self-transcendence. Frankel's research definition is that the more we forget about ourselves, the more we lose ourselves and reorient to others, the more human we can be. So we actualize ourselves, not to focus on ourselves. Paradoxically, you want to actualize ourselves, we're focusing something greater than ourselves. So Frankel's definition focus on self-transcendence as a spiritual motivation. Except for my friend Bob Evans, he really research on striving towards the secret. Very few people emphasize spiritual motivation. So Frankel's understanding of meaning or self-transcendence is not as a subjective experience of wonder, of awe, but as a process, as a motivation of a narrow path, a difficult path to become fully human. Now, right now, there's a lot of research on subjective experience, self-transcendence as subjective part of experience, as done by Billy Yadin. He has so many internet experiments. But there's very little research, except the early work by Bob Evans. And my work and Frankel and me on pursuing transcendence as a motivation. Here's another definition of transcendent suffering. This is from Buddha. Buddha's emphasis is also on pursuing meaning as the way of life, as a way to reduce suffering and achieve enduring happiness. So here, reducing suffering and achieving happiness are two sides of the same coin. You cannot pursue happiness without dealing with suffering. Here's my expanded definition. So my definition has three parts. The first part is that self-transcendence is a path to transcend human suffering and limitation and ordinariness of everyday life in order to pursue and experience something greater than oneself. The second part is that self-transcendence involves a process, the process of organismic growth, as mentioned by Roger, and spiritual transformation, as mentioned by Maslow and Frankel. Lastly, when our life is motivated by self-transcendence, as a way of life, then we'll be able to experience self-transcendence as a profound sense of inner peace and joy and awe through connection with something sacred or amazing. In other words, we can able to discover awe and joy in ordinary life. The smell of the flower, the, uh, the summer breeze in the evening, the sunset, sunrise, the flowing cloud in the sky. So it doesn't have to be always religious. You got the right attitude, you involve life, it characterized by self-transcendence, then we can discover joy and awe in our exploration, in learning new things, to overcome difficulty, in helping other people, as Matthew Lee spoke about the free-flow life. The free-flow life is a transcendental life.